Hey, it's Kris. Today we're going to work on nailing your crow pose, Bakasana. I like to teach this pose on our backs first sometimes so you can find where you're supposed to feel it, which is in your core and not just in your arms. A lot of people think their arms aren't strong enough to hold the posture and they're not engaging their core in the right way to hold themselves up. So once you actually kind of feel that, I think it's easier to feel weightless when you're up on your hands. So we're going to start on your backs. This is actually a great way to do abs, some core work without a lot of spinal flexion or extension. You're going to have your knees up over your hips. You can start with your hands, put your hands on your thighs. You're going to press your thighs into your hands and your hands into your thighs as hard as you can. So I have my knees apart and my feet together because that's what our legs are like in crow pose. So you're going to press the insides of your feet together, press your hands into your legs, press your legs into your hands, press your hips into the floor, press the back of your head down. So everything that's touching the ground is pressing down, and your hands and legs pulling together to feel everything in between. And then try to focus on your breath. So it's the same stress that builds up when you're in crow pose, and relax. So we're going to do that again, but with one hand and one leg. So do right hand, right leg. You can take your left arm and leg out, but keep your rib cage down. Don't let your rib cage pop up here. So press and resist, press and resist, press and resist. Big inhale, big exhale through your nose or your mouth. And relax. And switch sides. This should be a lot of work if you're doing it right. You should feel your obliques without doing a big flexion. And relax. And next we're just going to try to get our arms in the same position as if we were moving into crow pose. So reach your arms behind your head, kind of shimmy your shoulders back, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Try to get your tricep, your back of your arms onto your knees. So you're rolling your knees toward your arms and your arms toward your knees. At the same time, try to keep some length in your low back. Notice my hips aren't on the ground. I'd like them to be closer to the ground, but I'm tight back there. So you're pushing and resisting, pushing and resisting, pushing and resisting. Keep your feet together because that's where we want them. Get used to making your little gecko hands as if you're gripping the mat. Pull and resist, pull and resist, pull and resist. So my back's starting to flatten out as I sit in this pose. So that's a good thing. And relax. So you might take a bridge to counteract those poses, and maybe you just stop there. If you want to work on the arm balance, we're just going to take that onto our hands. So you can start in a sumo kind of squat position, toes out 45, drop the hips. You can have your heels up or down because we're not going to be here very long. See if you can get one arm at a time up and over the knee. So as high up into your armpits you can get those knees. Plant the hands. You're going to try to grip the mat. We don't want to jam all the weight onto the wrist. We really want most of the weight on our fingers and our finger pads. So shift your chest forward. Pull one heel into your butt. Pull your arms toward your legs toward your arms. As hard as this is maybe your crow. Maybe this is your crow. You're still doing the same work you did on your back. We just flipped it over. Maybe if it feels good, you're going to bring your other foot up to your butt and squeeze the inner feet together. So I'm pulling and resisting, pulling and resisting, pulling and resisting, and relax back down. So you can play with that, technique on your back. Sometimes that helps people to get it when maybe they haven't been able to get it before, or because they think that it's all about their arms, kind of doing a push-up or holding themselves up. But if you can engage your core, then it feels a lot more weightless. So then you'll realize you don't need so much arm strength. You just need that pulling action and the resisting action of your knees to lift you up. So it's the squeezing in that lifts the center. Another good pose for that is just the plank. So even on your elbows and your knees, or your elbows and your feet, if you pull your feet toward your elbows and your elbows toward your feet, at the same time I'm doing that, you might not be able to see it, like you might think my butt would lift, but you're doing that action of pulling your arms toward your legs and your legs toward your arms. Instead of just all the weight is going down, now the weight is moving toward the center. So I'm feeling a lot more work in my plank. And that's also the same feeling that you get when you're in crow pose. So maybe practicing on your back, or even when you're planking, that's going to help you nail your crow pose. Good luck.